Welcome to another episode of Twisted Storm Outlaws. Storm Chaser Unit Vanquish is tracking down a system in Keysota that is developing into a tornado. Keysota sits in what locals call the Tornado Alley Bend, a corridor where contrasting air masses frequently collide. When warm, humid air surges north from the south and meets cool, dry air spilling down from the high country, the atmosphere becomes a loaded spring. Add fast winds above the ground, winds that change speed and direction with height, and storms here can begin to rotate. The funnel is beginning to drop down. It isn't magic, it's geometry. Heat rising, cold pressing in, wind turning the whole system like a slow screw. Down, the tornado has touchdown. Vanquish is now monitoring the capacity of the tornado. This is the mature stage, a tornado fully developed, anchored to the storm above, and fed by the inflow below. In Keysota's flat country, you can often see the entire structure at once: the funnel, the debris cloud, and the parent thunderstorm towering overhead. The tornado's motion is not random. It follows the storm's forward movement, guided by the larger wind field, typically tracking from the southwest toward the northeast across the grid of roads and fields. Vanquish has caught up and positioned himself in front of the tornado. As it moves, the tornado can shift width and intensity within seconds. A narrow rope can broaden into a wedge. Multiple smaller vortices can spin briefly inside the larger circulation. Fast, violent streaks that intensify damage in narrow lines. This is why a tornado's path isn't a clean stripe. It's a signature: uneven pressure, changing wind speeds, and sudden turns. But a tornado doesn't need to aim at you to be lethal. Its winds extend far beyond the visible funnel. The debris cloud at the base marks the zone where structures begin to fail, where air moves not like wind, but like a moving wall. When a tornado enters a town, the damage changes character. In the country, it tears through barns, trees, and fence lines, wide spaces between targets. Here, structures are close together, and debris becomes ammunition. What breaks in one block can be carried into the next. The funnel may still be visible above, but at street level, the tornado often presents as a moving debris cloud, a roiling, fast-moving wall that hides the exact point of rotation. The tornado's path cuts a corridor through the grid, one street shredded, the next partially intact, then devastation again. This uneven pattern is not mercy, it's physics. Subtle shifts in the tornado's center, brief surges in intensity, and small-scale vortices inside the larger storm can concentrate destruction into narrow streaks. In moments like this, time behaves strangely. The tornado may only spend minutes in town, but the damage is measured in years. Sirens, radio calls, and shouted directions mix with the roar. People trying to stay ahead of a threat that moves faster than certainty. Tornado chasers, especially teams like the Storm Outlaws, put themselves in harm's way to document storms most people spend their lives trying to avoid. On camera, it can look like controlled bravery, but the reality is closer to calculated exposure, where one wrong assumption can close every exit. The best teams treat each chase like a moving risk assessment, reading storm structure, watching the inflow, noting how fast the system is cycling, and tracking escape routes. But the risk is never fully controllable, because tornadoes don't behave like tidy targets. Then, as abruptly as it arrived, the tornado advances toward the far side of town, still rotating, still fed by the storm, dragging the town's fragments into its wake. This is the hard truth of Keysota's Tornado Alley. The storm does not stop because it has taken enough. It simply follows the wind toward whatever lies next. In the end, groups like Storm Outlaws document dangerous tornadoes by walking a narrow line, close enough to capture the truth of the storm, far enough to survive it. When they do it right, the footage isn't just thrilling, it's a reminder that the most important part of any chase is knowing when to stop chasing.